Alrighty then, looks like we're good. Alright, hey guys, today I'm going to be reviewing the old Gods cards because, well, a few of you asked me to do it. So, alright, let's get going. I'm going to try to be brief. Yeah, so this is Cthulhu. Obviously a really cool card in that everyone gets it for free, which is really nice. Free legendary, yeah. And this legendary isn't utter garbage either. Like, it's pretty good. People, people are probably gonna, like, every person I guess is gonna run a Cthulhu deck at least once. And you're gonna have the cards to do it. It shouldn't be that bad. Yeah, so it's a really good card. A 10 mana 6/6 deal damage equal to this minion's attack, randomly split amongst all minions. You're basically just gonna be firing off a ton of arcane missiles, which is pretty good. Beckoner of Evil, 2 mana 2/2. Battlecry, give your Cthulhu +2/+2 wherever it is. That means if it's in your hand or in your deck, you're still getting the buff. Um, and there's also going to be like a counter system, so you can see like how big your Cthulhu is, which is really great. Yeah, this card is great. 2 mana 2/3 is totally fair, and the Battlecry makes it insane. So yeah, if you don't open this card, you will because it's a common. But if you don't, craft it. Corrupted Healbot. Death Rattle. Restore 8 health to the enemy hero. This is one of the worst cards I've ever seen in my life. 5 mana 6/6, right? Direct comparison. Pit Fighter. 5 mana 5/6. Yeah, you're gonna run Pit Fighter. Because think of it this way, right? If it restores 8 health to the enemy hero when you kill it, you have to hit it twice. You have to hit the enemy hero twice just for like this card to even be like a good idea, right? And if you hit it twice, then you only deal 4 damage, right? Which means, and you're only gonna be able to hit the enemy hero twice, right? Like, seriously. Um, so yeah, it's basically a 5 mana 2/6 mech, which shouldn't matter much because the GVG is being removed. So yeah, this card really, really sucks. This is Disenchant Material 101 right here. Polluted Hoarder. Death Rattle, draw a card. This card is not bad. Um, it's not like the replacement of Piloted Shredder by any means. Sometimes in aggressive decks, I would run like I put like just like a random loot hoarder in there if I had like one extra spot just for card draw. Same idea, I guess. Say you have like a 4-drop and a slot, a 4-drop slot, and you needed something to fill it. I mean, card draw ain't bad. It's got 4 attack, ain't bad. If I open this, I'm probably not going to disenchant it, but I probably wouldn't craft it either. Twilight Elder, 3 mana 3/4. Give your Cthulhu 1/1 at the end of your turn, wherever it is. This card is insane. Notably, it's a 3 mana 3/4, so it's basically like Spider Tank, which is a great card. That's an insane card. And then this just ongoing, so it's insanely like good, which basically means it's a 3 mana 3/4 with taunt, which is great. If I don't open this, which I probably will because it's a common, I'll be crafting it like in a second. I mean, like you disenchant your corrupted healbots for Twilight Elders, and that's really good. Because I mean, look, you're guaranteed a +1/+1, right? It's like Rag. You're guaranteed one Ragnaros shot, so it's a really good card. Elevated Doomsayer. 5 mana 0/7. At the start of your turn, set this minion's attack to 7. This card is kind of bad for the reason that Summoning Stone is bad. It's really easily killed. If it was Battlecry, then it might be a little better, but then it's still weak to silence, right? And it's a 0/7. So, I mean, you need like a 4 attack minion and a 3 attack minion to hit it, or a 4 and a 2 and a hero power to hit it. And I mean, if you think about it, like on their turn 5 or their turn 6, they're definitely going to be able to deal with this. So, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I'd probably disenchant it, honestly. I might keep it around just in case they release some other card that's like somehow cheats it out so it becomes a 7/7 instantly, but the chances of that are so slim that I'll probably be disenchanting it after like a week. Standing its Darkness. It's kind of like the new muster for battle, except it's way worse. Notably, any AoE in the game kills this card. All of it. So, I mean, say that, I don't know, Consecration kills the whole board. On turn 5, do you really want 5/1/1s? I'm not sure, but I think Quartermaster is being rotated out, so you don't even get the potential buff with that. I could be wrong. Sorry if I am. Even if I am though, it's too slow. I mean, Stranglethorn Tiger. It's a 5 mana, 5/5 with Stealth. It's a beast. This is just 5 Silverhand Recruits for 5. The card's too weak. If it costed 4, maybe. But, nah, not for 5. This is just a background. Eater of Secrets. Okay. I've heard a lot of like discussion about this, right? 4 mana, 2/4. That sucks. That's terrible. Battlecry. Destroy all enemy secrets. Gain +1/+1 for each. Alright. So, if you guys remember, Blackwing Technician, 3 mana, 3/5 was insane. I mean, it still is. It's not going anywhere for a while. But that's an insane card, right? 4 mana, 2/4, really bad. 4 mana, 3/5, you kill one secret. I mean, that's okay. So basically, you have to kill 2 secrets for this card to be like really good. I mean, yeah, if you destroy one secret, it's kind of like a 1 mana 3/5, but it's really not, because what you'll do is if you're going up against a class that has secrets, you'll be saving this in your hand till they play a secret, and then, you'll do that. So it'll be in your hand a long time, most likely. And, yeah, and not all classes even run secrets. So, I'm not going to disenchant it if I get it, but I'm definitely not going to craft it. I think it's just too weak. There are much better 4-drops out there. Kazan Mystic is so much better than this, because you actually get the secret. But this one here, I mean, Secret Paladin. I get this massive gain of life or whatever. Actually, though, if you do play against Secret Paladin, this might turn into a 2/1, right? Because their secret triggers. All secrets trigger before battle cries, by the way, which means if they have, like, if a Paladin has, like, Sacred Trial out, and you play this as your 4th minion, it will die before the battle cry triggers. Note. And, which means if you're facing a Paladin and they have, like, that secret that puts us down to 1 health, then you lose all this health. So then it really sucks. So basically this is good against Mage and Hunter. Paladin, you tech this against Paladin, yet this card is not very good against Paladin, if you think about its potential against the other classes. But yeah. Giant Sandworm, 8 mana, 8/8 Beast. Whenever this minion kills another minion, it may attack again. Okay, that sounds awesome, right? Like the Wombo combo Tundra Rhino, Giant Sandworm, Bestial Wrath, and you just clear their entire board. Once, at least. But I think it's too slow, right? You're playing Hunter, and I don't see Control Hunter being a thing anytime soon. So you really want to hit face, right? You want this to go face. And yeah, you do get to hit it for 10, which is actually not that bad. I'll actually know. Because to Bestial Wrath and play this, without Ragnaros, you have to do like turn 10 with a coin or something ridiculous. I think. It's either turn 10 with a coin or turn 10 without the coin. And you have to have Tundra Rhino out. Yeah, basically this only works really well if you have Tundra Rhino. If you don't have Tundra Rhino, then it's just kind of like a big body. It's not bad. But, I mean, Savannah Highmane's way better. Maybe Force Tank Max is better, honestly. If you're just trying to clear minions, because it won't take damage the first time. Like, you put this up against a Ragnaros, it's gonna die. You put this against a Sylvanas. Oh, that's bad. I don't know. This is good for clearing small minions in the late game, but it won't have that big of an impact on the board. And it is scary, but it's an 8 attack card, so you could just BGH it, which is why you need charge. I don't know. I think it's a really interesting idea, but I don't think it's gonna work. I'll keep one of them if I open it. I'm not crafting it. Go. Hogger, Doom of Elwyn. Alright, probably said that wrong. Sorry. Whenever 7 mana 6/6 legendary. Whenever this minion takes damage, summon a 2/2 Null with taunt. It's basically like Hogger with like tiny steroids, right? But it's much better than Hogger, even though it costs 3 more mana. Because the thing that sucked about Hogger was Flame Strike, Consecration, that kind of stuff. Because it was a 6 mana 4/4 body that summoned these 2 mana 2/2s. This one here, yeah, it does have to take damage for it to summon the taunt. But if you're a warrior, right, you can inflict that damage. If you're, hunter, you can inflict the damage. If you're mage, you can ping it, that kind of stuff. And if you hit it once, you'll get the taunt on the turn that you play it, right? And then say they AoE you, right? Alright, the biggest AoE in the game, besides Light Bomb, because Light Bomb is being removed, is like Flame Strike. Because Brawl doesn't really count, it doesn't deal damage, it just straight up like kills you. So does Enter the Colosseum, just kills you. But this minion is big enough that I think you can get value out of it. If there are 2 3s, it'd be even better. Because that pretty much takes out Consecration and stuff. But, so say it was like a 9 mana, 6/5, summon a 2/2 a taunt. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. This is gonna be in control decks, a few of them. It's not the replacement Boom, sorry to say, but this card is not the worst legendary in the set, by any means. I think the worst one's coming up here. Nah, I was wrong. Okay. Klaxi Amberweaver. If your Cthulhu has at least 10 attack, gain 5 health. 4 mana, 4/5. It's a Yeti. But it could be a really fat Yeti. First of all, getting your Cthulhu to 10 attack is so easy by turn 4, right? I mean, you have the 2 mana 2/3s that give +2/+2. Then you have the 3 mana 3/4 that gives +1 every turn. So you play a 2 mana 2/3 that gives +2/+2. Then you play another 2 mana 2/3 +2/+2. You can play this card on turn 4 with the Battle Cry. Or you play the 2 mana 2/3, the 3 mana 3/4, then you just have to wait to give it one more buff. And a 4/10 is pretty good. It's like Twilight Drake is really good. If you silence Twilight Drake, it's really bad. If you silence Klaxi Amberweaver, it's still a Yeti, so it's still value. I probably will craft this card. If I have any intention of playing a Druid Cthulhu deck, I will be crafting this card in a second. Yeah, it's a good card. It's easy. The battle cry is easy to get, and even if you silence it, the stats are fine. And it's a rare, so it's not even expensive. Good card. Ancient Shield Bearer, 7 mana 6/6. Rare. If your Cthulhu has at least 10 attack, gain 10 armor. Or I just said it was easy to get. Plus, I said it's easy to get Cthulhu to 10 attack for turn 4. It's almost guaranteed you get it at turn 7, unless you're like so unlucky. If you're forcing, right, you're not going to get Ancient Shield Bearer to work ever. But assuming you're not that unlucky, this should work. This should actually work. And gaining 10 armor is insane. Like, hello? Golden Monkey Warrior, Fatigue Warrior, every warrior, except for like Cancer Aggro Warrior. That's not viable yet. This card is insane. This card is so good. Arguably, no, definitely better than Shield Maiden. I'm gonna say it. It's definitely better than Shield Maiden. I mean, not much I can say. It's really good. Cthulhu's Chosen. Oh, look at this. Another card that buffs Cthulhu. 4 mana 4/2 Divine Shield. Battlecry give your Cthulhu +2/+2 wherever it is. This card is also insane, and it's a common. Like, it's a freaking common. Anyway, this card I actually think comes close to replacing Shredder. Because the Battlecry helps you later on in the game, and it has Divine Shield, which basically means it's Death Rattle summon a 4/2, kinda, right? Kinda. It's like a 4/1 Death Rattle summon a 4/2, which is pretty freaking good. Yeah, this card is really good. I would run this in non-Cthulhu decks, just like I'd run Twilight Elder. I think that's what it's called, the 3 mana 3/4. I would run that in a non-Cthulhu deck, because they're that good. And they're easy to craft. This is excellent for beginner players. This is like, maybe not the toppest tier card, but it's definitely up there. It's good. It's really good. I'll be crafting this if I don't get it. Forbidden Flame. 0 mana, spend all your mana, deal that much damage to a minion. It's an epic card. Epics mean it's gonna be hard to use, usually. This card is okay. I could see it being like, like, say you've got a lot of stuff in your hand that you don't want to play, or you only have one thing, right? You're in a top deck war, they play Boulder Fist Ogre, and then you have this card, and then you were like, Night Juggler. Well, that's fine, because I play the Night Juggler, or maybe you save it, or whatever. But anyway, you can deal 7 damage to the Boulder Fist Ogre, right? It's not a big deal. Also, of course, this is going to buff Mana Worm. Flame Waker is going to trigger off of this. Antonitis will trigger off of this. What else? Point is, and spell damage is going to buff it, of course. So this card is good. It's good. It's kind of tough to say it's good because, class card, right, is Fireball, 4 mana, deal 6 damage. Or Frostbolt, 2 mana, deal 3 damage. And Freeze, 7 mana, 7 damage, 5 mana, 5 damage. Whatever. But this card, it's not bad. It's flexible. You can use it in a lot of different situations. You can use it just to get a Fireball for 0. Yeah. So, it ain't bad. You get a Fireball with Antonitis, of course. That's what I mean. So yeah. People will probably run like one of this in their mage deck, especially in Reno Jackson decks. Pretty much every deck that runs Antonitis, they'll run like at least one copy of this. Forbidden Shaping. This is really cool. Spend all your mana, summon a random minion that costs how much? Okay. If you play this for like 5 mana, you won't get a Sludge Belcher from it, I believe, because it rotated out. I think this is just going to be in, like, it'll summon minions from your format, which is actually great because you can go any, like, crafting in your collection if you don't have all the cards, which I assume like, most people don't. You can check, right? And you can see, what minions, like, for what mana does this have the most value, right? Because it's kind of like Unstable Portal. Kind of. Yeah. 7 mana cards usually have, like, battle cries or something. 6 mana cards, there's Sylvanas. That's pretty good. And also 6 mana cards usually are just good in general. 5 mana cards are also pretty good. 4 mana cards, sometimes they're gimmicky, but usually they're pretty good. 3 mana cards, you're going to get at least a 3/3. And usually they do something. They'll either have a battle cry or an active thing that like triggers off of actions. So basically, if you play this from like 3 to like 7, pretty good value. Like you'll get good value. 8, really good value. 9, you'll get like Ysera or Malagos, something like that. Which those two are good in specific situations. And you don't want to go to 10, right? Because then you get like Giants, which you could get for 8, like the same stats as Giants for 8. Um, you could get Deathwing, but the Battle Cry will not trigger. So you have a 12/12, which is pretty good. But you could also get Variant Range, which is a 7/7, which I mean, you could get for the 7 mana one. So basically, this card, you don't want to play it for anything above like 8, I'm gonna say. 8 mana is good. I'd probably skip it on 7 too. So I'd probably play for 8, 6 to 3. Like this range here. That. That's where I would play it. It's good because say you have nothing else to do, you're just like, give me a minion. Boom, Forbidden Shaping. Pretty good card. Forbidden Healing. Good for Healadin. Yeah, twice as much health. This is really good. Imagine if the mage one deal damage for each mana said deal double damage. Like, if you think about it, right, this is kind of like that because like dealing damage is all about like dealing damage to face is all about the margin, right? Like how big is the margin between the two? Because in most games, one guy's at like 28 when the match is over, and one guy's at 0, or 10 and 0, right? There's usually quite a big margin. This card, like you played for 5, you restored 10 health. Like that's insane. You played for 4, and you're getting like an anti-heal bot restoring of health. You played for like if you play it on turn 10 for 10 mana, I mean it's basically Reno. Yeah, there are times when you Reno from 1, usually mage, but a lot of times you Reno from a lot less than that, like 12, something like that. I mean, this card is kind of like a Reno, like a 10 mana Reno that triggers anytime you want, and you can run 2 of them. So fatigue, paladin, heal, and all that kind of stuff. Good card. Even if you're running aggressively, I mean, you're about to die to some crap or whatever. You can just heal. Maybe you live one more turn. Maybe you get that arcane golem you needed to win. It's a good card. Dang, it's an epic, which means it's kind of expensive. Crafting this card? Dang, I don't know. I don't know. I really have to see how much dust I have. I mean, I like it a lot. It's a really good card, but I'm cheap, you know. I don't know. I'm gonna hope to open this. I really want to open this card. I'll probably craft it if I can. It'll be kind of like on the back burner, but I'll try to craft it. Herald Volage. Volage. Something like that. Okay. Battlecry. Summon a 1/1 copy of each of your other minions. This card's pretty bad. 6 mana, 5/5. So this text has to be amazing for this freaking cost right here, right? And it's not. I mean, the dream, Ragnaros. But then it's a 1/1 Ragnaros. It dies to like everything. I mean, granted, you're dealing 16 damage at the end of your turn, but still, if they live, it like if they can deal with one rag, they can deal with another one. Which means you have to hold this card past turn 8 to really play it. I mean, this is really good with Sylvanas, because a 1/1 Sylvanas is really good, because you want Sylvanas to die, usually. But yeah, it's the whole thing. It's kind of like Standing Against Darkness, right? AoE is such an important part of Hearthstone, and just summoning 1/1s, like even if they're insane 1/1s, they're still just 1/1s, really. So I'd probably disenchant this, and I definitely would never craft it. I'm never ever gonna craft it. If I open it, I'll be very tempted to disenchant it, just because it's pretty bad. Opinion me. Infested Tauren. 2 mana, 2/3. Okay, that's abysmal. It's cheap, but like Yeti? Hello? Taunt, Death Rattle, summon a 2/2 slime. Alright. So this is, as I said, Yeti, right? This is slightly better than Yeti. Very slightly. Because, like, for the same reason that, like, when Slice Belcher came out, people were like, 3/5 summon a 1/2? That's just tells Dingo summon a Gold Sheriff of it, and that's, like, trash, right? But it's not. We know Sledge Belcher was insane. This card is less insane, way less insane than Sledge Belcher. But That's still pretty crazy because you have to do like you have to hit like two minions into this to kill it, right? Like Yeti, you could just hit it once or spell it once, which means this card is not bad. The question comes: do you have enough 4 slots to put this in your deck? Do you need that taunt? That'll depend on your deck. But I probably would not disenchant this card. I don't know if I'd craft it, but it's common, so you're probably going to open at least one. And if it turns out to be insane, you just craft the other one. So it's not that bad. Like, it's not good. It's not insane. It's not abysmal. It's like pretty decent, you know. I mean, in arena, this card will not be as good as Yeti because it won't be able to trade up. But this is a card that you play like a Noyatron, right? Like, you're gonna get screwed a Noyatron, and then you kind of live for a turn. That's basically this card. You live for a turn. If it gets silenced, that sucks. Then that really sucks. But I've heard that they're thinking of removing silence and stuff like that. I doubt they will. I really do. But hey, if they do, I have 3 Iron Beak Owls to disenchant for full dust. But yeah, and the cards that are coming out are so insane, right? They're not gonna silence an infested Torn. Probably, they're probably just gonna like mow through it if they can. So it's a good card. It's average, I guess. Doom. Destroy all minions. Ah, that's great. 10 mana. Whatever. Destroying all minions? Pretty good. It's like better than Brawl. Draw a card for each. That's where this card actually sucks. It does. When do you play Doom? You play Doom when your opponent has a ton of minions. You have a few, right? And then you would hit those minions into the opponent's face, if you could. And then you would Doom. Or you'd hit your minions into their Death Rattle minions, and then you'd Doom. And then you're going to draw like 6 cards. And at first, drawing 6 cards sounds really good. This is a Warlock card. You're already drawing a lot of cards, and you're getting to low health, right? 10 mana destroying all minions is really good. But you already have Twisting Nether, which is 8 mana, does the exact same thing. So this card is worse. Because you actually don't want to draw that many cards. You've already drawn a lot of cards by turn 10. You're at low health by turn 10. You need to win at turn 10. You don't want to survive. You have to hit the face. You have to, like, go for it by this time. I mean, or you have to at least Jiraxis, because you're not going to have Mal'Ganis, right? You actually have to worry about your life total. Now that Mal'Ganis is gone, that Eternal Turtle is gone from Standard. You don't want to draw this many cards. Fatigue is like your ultimate nightmare as a Warlock. Reno Jackson, but still. But still. And also, there'll be a lot of times when there's a lot of minions, and you'll be forced to play Doom if you want to live, because you're running that slow deck, right? And then you're just burning cards because you're not going to have enough room in your hand to like fit this. Like, in fact, a lot of occasions you're not going to hit your minions into the Death Rattle minions just to clear the board. You're going to be hitting your minions into their big minions just so you don't overdraw, right? This card, I disenchant it. Twisting Nether, much better. Twisting Nether and then you just live tap for 1 card is better than Doom drawing like 6 cards. Or 5 cards. Or 4 cards. But maybe 4. 4 would be reasonable. But then why would you ever Doom for 4 cards? Like, you're not going to, right? Like that's just dumb. That's not value. You see, it's just awkward. That's why it's an epic, right? Because it's awkward. Halaziel the Ascended. There's been so much hype about this card. I don't even think I have to review this, but I will, in case you haven't heard. 5 mana, 4/6, legendary. Okay, those stats are fair. Not great, but they're fair. Whenever your spells deal damage, just pour that much health to your hero. This is really good. Lightning Storm, imagine that. Right? You're dealing 2 damage across the board, 2 to 3 damage across the board. Ah, the sweet heals. Or Elemental Destruction. dealing 4 to 5 damage on both sides of the board. So it's basically Reno Jackson. In fact, it's statted the same. It's one less. And also, I mean, say you're running an aggressive shaman or whatever. You crackle the face. Now it's a 1 mana, like, okay, how's this? I'll make a better comparison. Lava Blast or something like that. It's like 3 mana, deal 5 damage. Now it's a 3 mana Holy Fire Overload 1, or I think, yeah. So yeah, pretty good card. Pretty good. Very good. I want this card very badly. I feel like, will this save Shaman? Probably not, but it's a step in the right direction. You're going to see more Shamans on ladder, for sure, in standard. And in wild, probably. I mean, low key, like, yeah, it's a good card. It's really good. One sec, I'm gonna go back. This card is actually better in Shaman than it is in Mage because on turn 10 you can play this 5, and then you can do so much damage with your little cost spells that overload, and just heal so much, right? Right? I mean, I would use the Paladin card, like Forbidden Healing, on 10 mana to receive 20 health back to my face or whatever. This you could easily break 20 for 10 mana. Alright, Cackle, Lava Blast. That's okay. Sorry, you can't easily do it. Anyway, it's good enough because you're also dealing damage, right? Sorry, that was dumb. Sorry, I overreacted. But anyway, yeah. Tentacle of N'Zoth. That's what I'll deal 1 damage to all minions. This card looks. It's 1 mana, 1/1 common. This card looks like pretty like fair, I guess. This card is like. Here's the thing, right? Unstable Ghoul is one of my favorite cards. It's an Naxxramas card. 1/3 taunt. Death Rattle, deal 1 damage to all minions. Explosive Sheep was really good. 2 mana, 1/1 Death Rattle, deal 2 damage to all minions. Those were good for different reasons, right? For the taunt, you were gonna deal 2 damage to one thing unless it died, and 1 to everything else. An Explosive Sheep, you're gonna deal 2 to everything, right? For 1. It was also a mech. This card here. I mean, a lot of aggressive decks these days, they don't run. Like, it's not like Murloc aggression anymore. That's over, right? Like, they have 2 health cards, and they've got, and they have no reason to attack this, right? Like, you're gonna be sending this into something, which means this is like a turn, you want to, like, play this on turn 3, which is really, like, no, turn 2, I guess. Which kind of sucks, because then on turn 2, you're either playing like 2 Tentacle of N'Zoths, or you're just playing this, right? And dealing 1 damage, you will, if you throw it in yourself, you'll be dealing 2 damage to one thing, everything else around the board. But it's not the same as Unstable Ghoul, because sometimes they had 2 attack minions, right? And then you get to deal 2 damage to 2 things. And it was taunt anyway, so it was really good against aggression. This one here, it's worse than Unstable Ghoul. It's worse than Explosive Sheep. I mean, it might be run if Murlocs come back, but I don't see it happening. So, I mean, don't craft this. Probably disenchant it, honestly. N'Zoth's First Mate. Battlecry. Equip a 1/3 Rusty Hook. This card is. It depends. This card is really good in like custom crafted warrior decks that are gonna have a lot of weapons and are face. It's a pirate too, which has some synergy. Yeah, this is gonna be decent in a very decent deck. It will not be insane in any deck, but it's pretty good. for its deck, for its place in the deck. Light's Justice is a good card. This is kind of like Light's Justice, because you're getting, you get to hit it once, and then you have a 1/1 body, which is arguably better than a 1/4 weapon, right? Because then even if they like Acidic Swamp Ooze, you have the 1/1. You know, it's value for sure. It's definitely value. It's not a Death Spite. It doesn't replace that. It doesn't even come close. But it's not bad. I'm not gonna disenchant this if I open it. And I mean, if that deck that this fits into is good, because this is going to create a deck. Like, you think I'm kidding, but this is actually going to create a deck. If this deck is good, I'll be crafting it like that. I might even craft it just regardless, because I don't have a lot of warrior cards that are good. And this is a high value card. That's all I have to say about it. Faceless Shambler. Ugh. Well, it's an epic, and I'm about to tell you why it's an epic. Because it's terrible. 4 mana, 1/1. That text better be just taunt. Okay? That still sucks. Battlecry. Copy of friendly minions' attack and health. Just the attack and health, mind you. No abilities. This is not Faceless Manipulator for 4 with taunt. No, it's not. It's not even close to that. It's just copy their attack and health, right? So basically, what makes this valuable? Okay, a Boulderfist Ogre maybe makes this valuable. A 4 mana 6/7 with taunt is fine. Until you realize that if you make this card valuable, it will be silenced immediately, which means it sucks. This is just so much worse than Twilight Dragon or whatever it's called. This is so much worse. It's expensive. It's an epic. I'll be disenchanting this if I open one. I will probably even forget it exists, right? Once the expansion's gone on for a while, because no one's gonna play this card. There are so many 4-drops that are better, right? And it's really not even a 4-drop, right? Because, okay, say you're gonna copy Boulderfist Ogre, that means you have to play a Boulderfist Ogre, and hope it doesn't get hit, ever. On turn 6, you have to assume your Boulderfist Ogre takes no damage. And then on turn 7, you're going to play this 4 mana thing. Get a Boulderfist Ogre with taunt. Okay, that's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. But this is the best hypothetical situation. And then you're going to play a 3 mana card, right? Like, I don't know, Saboteur or something. I mean, there are much better things you can do on 7 than Faceless Shambler and Saboteur. And that's the best possible situation I could think of. And I mean, that's the thing, right? Because if your minions are damaged, then this card is just trash. And if this is the late game, you get this, you're gonna be very sad. So 4 mana 1/1 taunt is just pitiful. Zoth the Corruptor. Here's a card that's not pitiful. 10 mana 5/7. Battlecry. Summon your Death Rattle minions that died this game. Of course, this is gonna make a whole new deck. Whole new one. Sylvanas is really good. The super wombo combo is you play your Sylvanas and your Karen Bloodhoof, right? And then you play your priest card, the whatever the thing was, the 6 mana 5/5 that summons copies of those, right? And then you play N'Zoth the Corruptor, and you get a full Sylvanas, a full Karen, and then 2 little baby Sylvanas and Karen, right? No, I'm kidding. No, that's dumb. But this is actually a good card. There are plenty of good Death Rattle minions out there. There are plenty more coming. The 10 mana 5/7 doesn't matter. The stats of this thing doesn't matter, because you're probably gonna run 7 Death Rattle minions, or 6, or whatever. You're probably gonna run 7, just because you're gonna assume you don't draw all of them. You might run 8, or 9, or 10. It doesn't matter. Death Rattle minions are pretty great. So you might be running a hell of a lot. And then, I mean, this is so much better than Variant Ren, right? You pay 2 extra. You pay 2 extra attack. Same health. Same mana. And then you flood your board with nonsense. That's insane. And then, like, sure, you don't draw cards, right? Okay, but say you're out of cards. Yeah, I mean, if you're out of cards, you can't play Variant Rin, right? You're just screwed. You can play N'Zoth the Corruptor if this is the last card in your deck. And you're gonna probably win if you're playing Control Warrior or Control Priest. You're gonna win this, right? Sorry, someone texted me. Um, yeah, good card. Craft this one. Don't disenchant it. Craft it. If it's not good now, it will be good in the next expansion. But it's probably gonna be insane right now. High quality card. Undercity Huckster. Good card. This is a really good card. 2 mana, 2/2. You'd expect a 2/3 or a 3/2. So that means that the Death Rattle should be pretty good, right? Add a random class card from your hand. Sorry, add a random class card to your hand. Yeah, like take your class cards and shoot them across the board. Oh, the value. But no. Yeah, so with this here, it's from your opponent's class. That's okay, because class cards are great. I mean, pretty much all the legendaries. Well, there's at least one good legendary in every class, and there's a lot of cards that like. I mean, like, okay, so what do you say? You're playing a mage, you get a fireball. Good, good. Pyroblast. Okay, that's not that good, but still, it's okay. I mean, you have that. It's basically this card gives you a lot more options. And a 2 mana 2/2 is not bad because a lot of people run a 3/2s, right? That's the majority of people. They run a 3/2s because most decks are offensively set. Or even if they're defensively, they're rigged so they trade up into the 3 cards. So you'll be able to take out their 2 drops, at least with this card. And also you're a rogue. So I mean you can take out 3 drops with Shiv or Fan of Knives in this card. And then you're gonna get a card from your opponent's class. And it's a rare, so it's easy to craft. Which means I'm gonna be crafting this card. Really good card. Really, 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 really good card. Really good card. Renounce Darkness. Ah. That face though, low key. This needs to become a meme. But anyway. Replace your hero power and warlock cards with another classes. The cards cost 1 less. Yeah, this is actually pretty good. It's finicky for sure. This is good when you're at low health, right? Turn 8. Turn 8, what am I talking about? Like turn like 12 or something. You get this card. And you're pretty low. And then you get a random hero power and everything. Okay, so you get priest. Or warrior. It's good. And the thing is, it's like, imagine how insane um, Emperor Thaurissan would be if it was discount all the cards in your deck for 1. Imagine that, right? Imagine that. Okay, and now say it said Emperor Thaurissan was a 2 mana 0/1, right? So it's basically it doesn't exist. A 2 mana 0/1. Replace your hero power, and then discount like a ton of cards. Not even all the cards, just like discount half the cards for 1, right there. Whoa, that's insane. You know what this is good for too? Say you're never lucky, right? And you didn't draw your Flame Imps early, and now you're low health. It's okay, you can renounce darkness. And then you can get like, um, I don't know, any 1-drop. That's good from another class. For nothing, for 0. Because that's how it works, right? It exchanges it for a minion of the same cost, and then discounts 1, right? And then just flips your opponent off. That's basically what it does. Because the value's insane, right? Like, and it's in your, like, it's all the warlock cards in your hand and in your deck. It's not just the ones in your hand. It's all of them. Yes, they will be replaced, but now you can play 2 6-drops on the same turn. Let that sink in. Because 6-drops are really powerful. So this card is good. It won't, of course, it won't change the minions on the board. So it won't be like totally heal all your Warlock minions that are on the board. That'd be broken. But this card, it's good. It's good. It really is. A lot of people don't like it, but it's okay. It's okay. Especially for players that are new and they're playing Warlock and they just throw a bunch of class cards in there. Well, they have Renounced Darkness to replace their sacrificial pacts with innervates. Like, hello? But yeah, basically that's what I mean. Like, so say you have Jiraxis and you're like, you know what? I don't care about Jiraxis. So you place Renounced Darkness on like turn 7, right? Well, that means you're going to get a 9 drop for 8 mana. You get an 8 mana Ysera. Is 8 mana Ysera better than Jiraxis? Probably. Yeah, probably, honestly. I mean, UK, so say you get Dread Infernal. That turns into a Sylvanas, which turns into a 5 mana Sylvanas. This card is really good. It's really, really, really good. Actually, I'm sorry. You can't get Ysera or Sylvanas, now that I think about it, because it's you replace your wild cards with another classes. Sorry, I actually did not understand that correctly. I thought it was just random cards, but no. It's you replace your hero power, which I got correctly, but you have to replace the cards with the same class, right? So this card's actually a little worse. But still, it's not bad. It's in no way bad. It's above average, now that I think about it. Sorry. Spawn Mazoth, 3 mana 2-2. A 2 mana 2-2 is fine. 3 mana 2-2 is a little bad. Death Rattle, give your minions +1/+1. In the late game, this card is pretty good. Not even pretty good. This card is like average in the late game. But in the early game, it's utter trash, because what are you going to do? Say you're playing super aggressive Warlock, why not? We just talked about it. So you turn 1 coin 2 Flame Imps or something. And somehow neither of them die. And on turn 2, you play, I don't know, what's a really good 2-drop for Warlock? Okay, whatever, we'll just say it's like a neutral minion. You play a turn 2 Knife Juggler, right? And then and none of it dies, of course, none of it dies. And then turn 3, you play Spawn of N'Zoth. Then you go 3 mana 2-2. And none of it dies. Right, none of it dies. I mean, do you even need that extra, like, +3/+3? You're already winning by so much. If they can't kill 2 Flame Imps and a Knife Juggler, it doesn't really matter what you play on turn 3. You're probably gonna win, right? Unless it's Freeze Mage. Then it's a trap. But besides Freeze Mage and Super Control Warrior, you're basically, I mean, like, even then you're kind of winning, right? Like, if they don't have Fiery War Axe, you're hitting them for 9 each turn. You can't survive that. You can't. So the +1/+1 doesn't even really matter. Just play like an Iron for Grizzly, right? Or anything. Or Saboteur. I don't know. Like, this card is just bad. I disenchant this card. I mean, I said like Beast. Maybe a consideration for Hunter. Make your little Unleash the Hounds 2/2s. But it's not. So, what I was thinking of really was like Tundra Rhino into this card, and then you coin Unleash or something. I don't know, something like that. But like those circumstances are so insane and also impossible because this isn't a beast that it's not even worth thinking about. Right? So Spawn of N'Zoth, no good. The Boogie Monster. This is the card I was talking about earlier when I was talking about it. The Corrupted Hogger was not the worst card in the set. This is probably the worst legendary they're going to release. This card is so bad from start to finish. 8 mana. Okay. It's got some competition at 8 mana, like Ragnaros. Best, well, not best, but really fun card. Really good card, by the way. Actually strong against silence, which is very interesting. The Boogie Monster, though. 8 mana, 6/7. Okay, you're thinking Boulder Fist Ogre. So the text better be worth 2 mana. When this minion attacks and kills a minion, gain +2/+2. First of all, silence makes this minion trash. Here's a 6/7. Which, I mean, okay, silence for a 6/7, I think terrible, because 6/7 is big enough already, right? But the impact you need on turn 8, like, this is not worth it. Especially because it's not like when the minion takes damage. You have to attack something, first of all, so it has to live. Attack something. And then after it attacks something, it has to kill it. For sure it has to kill it, right? Which means the minion has to have like less than 6 health by turn 8. Which means Voldefist Ogre doesn't qualify. So yeah, sure, you could kill your Pit Fighter after it's hit 3 times, assuming it's undamaged. Hello? Like, that sucks. Um, yeah, it's just bad in general. I mean, you can't even give this, like, charge, right? I mean, you could if you use the coin on turn 10. You could give it charge once, and then you could kill, your standard 8 drop with 8 health, or a giant, right? And then this thing survives with actually does not. Wait, does it though? No, because it buffs it after the thing is dead. Yeah, this card is just really bad. Instant disenchant. The minute you see this pop up, I mean, so you'll be opening cards, or whatever, and you go, oh, legendary, because you'll see the little aura, and you go, oh my god, yes, and then you're going to open the Boogie Monster, and you're going to be like, what the actual hell? I hate you, Blizzard. Why'd you give me Boogie Monster? But at least you know that this is the easiest disenchant ever. I would disenchant this faster than I would disenchant, like, Nate Pagel. And that's saying something, because I actually opened Nate Pagel. It's my second legendary, and I tried to use it for like 2 months, and it always trolled me. Every time. And I would disenchant this faster than I'd, like Nate Pagel was that bad, so it's just terrible. Infest, Hunter card, 3 mana, spell, rare. Okay, seems fine. Give your minions Death Rattle, add a random beast to your hand. So it's basically like, this is the Web Spinner Death Rattle. This requires your minions to be on the board, which is very easy for Hunter to do. You know what also the problem with Hunter is? Well, that's a strength of Hunter, having minions on the board. The problem is you don't draw cards fast enough. Doesn't even draw cards for you, right? It's even better, because this will never fatigue you. You cannot get fatigued by this. Hunter, you're not going to get fatigued anyway, but just say you could. I mean, hey, maybe if Sandworm becomes a thing and Fatigue Hunter is a deck, maybe Fatigue is a thing, but no, it never will be. At least it won't be for a long time. But this is really good. So say this triggers on 2 minions. It's value. It's value. It really is. Because these are beasts, and hunters love beasts. And this isn't just give your beasts Death Rattle. Add a beast. It's give your minions. So you could just play, I don't know, a Wisp. And then your Wisp becomes, a beast, kinda. Or whatever. So yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. This is pretty good. Craft this card if you're playing Hunter. At least run 1 in every deck. Okay, Tentacles for Arms. 5 mana, 2/2 weapon. Death Rattle, return this to your hand. That's gross. That's really gross. This card is disgusting. It's an epic because it's hard to use, right? But it's terrible. On turn 5, would you rather have a 5-drop minion, or would you like to have a 2-attack thing here? Right? I'm pretty sure this is for Warrior. Which doesn't even matter, right? Because this doesn't even, like, take away their armor in, like, the super fatigue war, right? This is useless because they're going to tank up and they're going to be +2ing every time. Okay, yeah, sure. You're going to get a 2 armor margin on them. But, I mean, most fatigue warriors nowadays are monkey warriors. And do you really want, like... I mean... Say you're not a monkey warrior, so this doesn't ever get replaced. Like, besides, you really shouldn't put a card in your deck if you want it to get replaced. You want to put a card in your deck because it's good. This card is just so bad. It's so bad. It's like, it's worse than Boogie Monster. It's worse than Boogie Monster. I mean, like, if it was a 5, okay, if it was a 5 mana weapon, 2 attack, and this was an infinity sign, so it never ever ever went away, it probably still wouldn't see play. Let that sink in. Infinitely, as long as it's for the warrior class. If it was for the rogue class, it would see play everywhere. But if it's for the warrior class, they don't have any permanent buffs for their weapons, right? Not that I'm aware of, at least. They have temporary ones, but they don't have permanent. So, yeah. Even if this had infinite durability, it would not see play. Archite Reaper doesn't see play. This is basically running 2 Archite Reaper handles, like you're just whacking the guys with the handle of the Reaper. And so, this card is instantly disenchantable. Xrael, Poisoned Mind, 4 mana, 3/2. Okay, that's not good. You don't want to see that. This is like 2 mana worth of spells. Battle Cry and Death Rattle. Add a random toxin card to your hand. The toxins. Let's see, are they next? Yes, here they are. Here are the toxins. This card over here, by the way, is really good. Well, maybe not really good, but it's pretty good. It's very good. Return a minion to your hand. It costs 2 less. 1 mana Shadow Step. Pretty good. Briar Thorn Toxin. Give a minion 3+ attack. You should recognize this from Paladin. Pretty good. Fadeleaf Toxin. Give a friendly minion stealth into your next turn. This is Finicky Cloakfield from GVG, basically. Fire Bloom Toxin. Deal 2 damage. 1 mana, deal 2 damage. Is that familiar? Kingswood Toxin. 1 mana, draw a card. Hallelujah. Yeah. All these toxins are pretty good. They all, not all, these 2 here do not require you to have a minion. The other 3 do. Even so, they're really good. They're really, really good. Yeah, they enable trades. They keep like this one here heals a minion basically, or gets 2 battle cries off. Like, I mean, you could do this on your, I mean, Reno Jackson. You could do this on your damaged Ragnaros or whatever. This helps trade up. This keeps something alive. This helps to clear a small minion. This one is not as good. But wait, what if the person is like at 2 health and they have a bunch of taunts? You're like, ha. And this one here is good because it draws a card, and they're all good because they cost 1 mana, and Violet Teacher's a thing, and you can just, play this card and get a 1/1 out of it, and the effect. So pretty good. So yes, Zrahil, I don't really play Rogue that much. Mill Rogue is kind of the only thing I ever played. But, I mean, I might craft the card if I have enough dust. It'll be on the back burner. Mukla, Tyrant of the Veil. That looks terrible. All these eyes. 6 mana, 5/5. Okay, so it better be at least as good as Sylvanas, right? Battlecry, add 2 bananas to your hand. We know that the nanners are 1 mana, give a minion +1/+1. So this is kind of like saying it's an 8 mana 7/7 beast, which I don't think cuts it. It's, I mean, if this is a 6/6, I mean, but it's not. It's, I mean, you'd run Sylvanas over this any day of the week, right? So, disenchant, I say. This card's actually really good in Arena, though. This card is actually really, really good in Arena. I know I haven't been really talking about the Arena too much. I don't play much Arena. Get your advice from someone who really does, but even I can see this card's pretty good in Arena. 5 mana Cult up. I'm not even going to try to say that, I'm sorry. I know what this is. I know what this word right here, I know what that is. But I don't really know how to say it correctly. 4/4, Okay, that's not very impressive. But okay, for each enemy minion, restore 2 health to your hero. That's pretty good. Because a lot of classes these days are aggressive, which means they like to have a lot of board presence. But actually, this card is kind of underpowered, honestly. Um, for each enemy minion, restore 2 health to your hero. So basically, if the minions are. So they say they have a full board, right? If they're all under 2, that's fine. You basically just live another turn as long as they don't have spell damage, right? If they're all 3s, I'm talking about averages here. Like if it averages to they're all 3s, then you'll probably live another turn unless they have spell damage. If they're all 4s, you'll probably live another turn, right? Because they can only deal 14 damage to you. Wait, they're dealing 14 damage to you. But anyway, this card is underpowered. I mean, it's really good against Unleash the Hounds, right? It's like reverse time on Unleash the Hounds. But if it said restore 3 health to your hero, I still don't think this card would be. Well, actually, hold the phone, hold the phone. If you're playing Priest, Holy Champion, Light Warden, that kind of stuff, then this card is actually pretty good, as long as those things aren't dead. And those cards seem to die very quickly. Notably, I mean, on turn 9, if you wanted a wombo combo, you could Hungry Dragon, summon another thing, it'll average to be a 1-1, right? Or a 1-2, something like that. And then you basically get an extra point of health. The wombo combo. But, yeah, this card, I'll keep 1 for the Priest Dream, but pretty much outside of Priest, to the best of my knowledge, this card is underpowered. Because, I mean, Pit Fighter 5-6. Come on. Ragnaros Light Lord. Now, this card is just weird, right? Like, hear me out here, right? The whole idea with everything in this set was to be, like, corrupted, like, evil. And then they come up with this, like, Light Lord nonsense, and I'm like, hello? What? Hello? But anyway, onto the card itself. 8 mana, 8/8. Paladin specific card. At the end of your turn, restore 8 health to a damage friendly character. People have looked at this and said this sucks, right? Because obviously restoring 8 health to something, it's not as good as dealing 8 damage to something. Because most things do not have over 8 health. Heroes do, 9 drops do, 8 drops do, some 10 drops do, a very limited number, like Deathwing. Maybe your damaged Cthulhu, but no, yeah. So basically, this is at the end of your turn, restore 8 health to a fully heal a damaged minion, or heal 8 to your face. Yeah. So here's the thing. Compare this, Light Lord Ragnaros, to normal Ragnaros. Normal Ragnaros is good when they have a lot of taunts, right? And it's also good because it has like a pseudo charge. Okay, this card is good because you can aim it. And it can also heal itself, by the way. This card is good because you can aim it. So really, it just depends on the situation. Do you want to aim this card, but also have to have the drawback of taunt? You having to hit taunts first? Or would you rather want the more random option with a bigger impact, but you can't control it? Notably, if this card gets silenced, Light Lord Ragnaros gets silenced, it's a lot worse than normal Ragnaros that gets silenced. Yeah. It's a really good card, though. I'm not gonna lie. This card's really good. It's like, you know, it'd be insane, right? Like, if Ragnaros said, like, if Ragnaros was like an 8 mana 8/8 card with like no portrait or something, and it was like, Battle Cry, choose Ragnaros Lightlord or Ragnaros. That would be so great, because then you could, like, every situation that comes up on turn 8, you could tech for it, right? That'd be cool. But it's not like that. So this card, it'll depend on the meta. This is a very meta-dependent card if this sees play. but it's very viable. It's very cool. I like it, right? I like how they're comparing, like they took the downsides of Rags and made it the strengths of Ragnaros Lightlord. So yeah, I like the card. I would never disenchant this card. Would I craft this card? Ooh, that's tough. Probably not. Unless, of course, the meta says this card is insane. But then again, I mean, if the meta says any card is insane, you're gonna craft it. So, all right, 2 mana spell for druids. Mark of Yesharj. Yesharj? Okay, whatever. Give a minion +2/+2. If it's a beast, draw a card. That's really good. Beast Druid gets another little card to add to their ongoing struggle. Yeah. So Mark of the Wild is a 2 mana +2/+2 give and taunt. What's better, taunt or drawing a card? In the early game, I would say it's drawing a card. In the late game, I'd say it's taunt. The good news is, if you're running a Beast Druid deck, now you can run both and have tech cards for both situations. Yeah, this card is good. Not enough said. It's good. I'll craft it if Beast Druid becomes a thing. Actually, I'll probably craft it even if it doesn't. But it's a common, which means you'll probably open it if you're opening a lot of packs. Scaled Nightmare. First of all, this is insanely cool looking. Okay, I see that epic button thing, the little gem, and I'm saying, ah, crap, this card's gonna suck. 6 mana, whatever. Better be, like, a little worse than Sylvanas, I guess. 2/8 Dragon, and I go, oh, please tell me the text is good. At the start of your turn, double this minions attack. Alright. This is where, at the start of your turn and at the end of your turn, like, at the end of your turn is so much better, usually, because the action happens immediately. It's like a charge. This is more like kind of like a death rattle. Kinda. You know what I mean, right? Like, if end of the turn is charged, then this is more like death rattle. One of them is slower than the other one, and usually worse. So, this is a dragon, which means dragon decks do get an extra dragon. So for you, you're playing this card, and it's like a 4/8 because it's gonna double it, right? Assuming you don't buff it. I'm just talking about the basic thing. The opponent is gonna get a 2/8 to deal with, and a 2/8 is a lot easier to deal with than a 4/8. Priest could just Shadow Word Pain. They could do a lot of stuff to it. So basically, what you want to do is play Warrior with this card. This is more of a Warrior card, or a Mage card maybe, but more of a Warrior card. And you want to do Inner Fire, right? So you damage it a little bit. So then at the next turn you get an 8/8 for 6. Well, you get an 8/7. 8/7, sorry. You get an 8/7 for 6, which is really good. And a 4/8's a lot harder to deal with than an 8/8. Well, a 4/7 is a lot harder to deal with than an 8/8. Think about it, right? A 4/7, you could just, well, in the old days, you could just play the Fugan Stalag brothers. There's a 4/7 and a 7/4. And that card is pretty good for 5. I don't know. Scaled Nightmare. I have high hopes for Scaled Nightmare. It could be viable in Warrior. It could be viable in Paladin, maybe. If it lives, it gets 4, and then you can make it 8, right, with the Blessed Champion or whatever. I don't know. This will be a very dependent card. I probably won't craft it. If I don't get the card, I won't craft it for about a week. I'll have to see how everything goes. I'll have to wait for things to settle down before, I see about this one. Shadow Word Horror. Destroy all minions with 2 or less attack. This card is bad in the late game. There's not going to be many two attack minions. There aren't a lot of 2 attack minions in general in Hearthstone. Do you really want to... so this card is value if you kill like 3 2-drops, right? But wouldn't you be killing those 2-drops anyways as the game progressed? So... Priest, do you really need another card that destroys things with 2 attack? You could Cabal them and just take them. You could Shadow Madness them and then use them. You could Shadow Pain them and kill them. So this card is trash. It's actually just trash. I'm sorry, card. You're rare. That just means you are worth more dust. Yasharj, Rage Unbound. 10 mana. 10. Balanced. At the end of your turn, put a minion from your deck into the battlefield, and this is where this card goes from balanced to godlike. It's at the end of your turn, which is I like, right? Because it's the pseudo charge effect. It's so much better than Variant Rain. It's so much better because you get 10 worth of stats, right? And you're guaranteed every turn to put a minion into the battlefield, which is great. This card is insane. I can't even talk about how insane it is, right? Like, it's just great. It's so great, right? Variant Rain, you're like, but what if you get 3 cards, right? Isn't that better? Well, okay, but here's the thing. So, say I'm running Ironfur Grizzly in my deck. I get this one. Okay, well then, Varian Wren has to pull out has to pull 2 Ironfur Grizzlies to match this one. This one already starts out 3/3 ahead. So it's basically like, if you assume one of your cards is a 3/3, that happens a lot. Like, 3 attack cards come out a lot of Varian for some reason. So basically then you're only worried about the next 2 cards. And that's just to break even, right? So that means you're really only dealing with like 1.5 cards. And this is guaranteed to put a minion onto the battlefield, which then means on your next turn, they can attack, whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about really. Of course, Variant Rune works the same way. But if there are no minions, this will not fatigue you. And if it's silenced, it's a 10. So yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good. I will be crafting this if I can. I think most of the old gods you craft if you can, right? Like the neutral ones that are huge like this, you craft them. You craft them because they're really good. Alright, thanks for hanging with me, guys. We're almost done here. Skaram Cultist, a 6 mana, 7/6. It's like Boulder Fist Ogre, a little flip flop. So that means the card is good. Definitely balanced. Battle card, give your Cthulhu +2/+2, whatever it is. That makes the card really good. In a Cthulhu deck, this card might be better than Sylvanas. I'm not even joking. Because basically what this means is, this is your last, you get this card in the late game, and this is like your last chance to get that Cthulhu up to 10/10, if you haven't already, which I've already said is easy to do, but this is your last chance to get it up to 10/10, to activate those other cards. And the card itself is really good. And it's cheap. So I will be crafting this card if I don't get it. Probably 2, because I want to run a Cthulhu deck. A lot of people want to. Actually, I'll probably run one of these, and then Sylvanas. The Wombo combo. Ancient Harbinger, 6 mana. Oops. 6 mana for 6. Okay. The attack is Wanting. At the start of your turn, put a 10 cost minion from your deck into your hand. Okay, well, if you run Cthulhu in your deck, then at least you're guaranteed that Cthulhu. But the problem with this card is it's at the start of your turn, which means if it dies, you don't get the effect, which means you're not guaranteed it really. If you run more than one 10/10 card, then you're also not guaranteed to get one or the other. Yeah, it's an epic card, but it actually doesn't suck outright like a lot of them do. If it lives, it's okay. But here's the thing, its effect is like a one-time thing. You only care about it happening once, which means it could just as well be a battle cry or a death rattle. And you definitely, even if you're running more than 10 cards, you don't want to fill up your hand with 10 cost cards. That's dumb, first of all. But you won't. I mean, who runs more than like 2? I mean, no one runs 2. Again, can't think of a deck that runs 2. So they're definitely you would never run like 3 or anything. So you're not really filling up your hand, but still you don't want to limit like your hand space with 10 cost cards that you can't get rid of. Um, and also with Cthulhu, you don't necessarily have to draw it on turn 10, right? You can continue to buff the card and play it, later on, and it's okay. I mean, most of the old gods you can play later on and they're okay. Deathwing you can play later on and it's okay. You know, that kind of stuff. Interesting little fact is this might trigger off of Molten Giant if you're at like 20 health. You might get Molten Giant in your hand, and that's really good value. So there are some ways to cheat this card. They're unlikely ways, yes, but there are ways. So I'm going to say this card is slightly above average. No, I'm going to say it's average. I'm going to say it's average. It doesn't have that big of an impact on the board. It does have a decent amount of health for a 6-drop, but in classes that can deal damage themselves, it's not too good. This will be a minion that trades down and not trades up, which is okay. You can have a few of those, but I don't see why you would run this card if you could run this card, right? I could be wrong, of course, but if I get 2, I'll be disenchanting 1. If I get none, I will not be crafting any. Let's say that. Sword of Darkshire. Whenever you summon a 1 health minion, give it Divine Shield. 3 mana, 3/3. Balanced stats already. It's a Paladin card. So you hit the button, now you're getting Argent Squires. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. The Dream, you play this on turn 3, it doesn't die, right? And then you play Knife Juggler. You hit the button, you get your guy, and then you throw a knife. Or, again, this is the super great one. And then you play your Renounce Darkness, and then you throw 5 knives, and you get 5 more Argent Squires, and finally Renounce Darkness. Sorry, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about, the Paladin card that summons 5 1/1s. And finally that card doesn't die to AoE, and it's a good card, and Trollden. But no. This card is good. That scenario is not going to happen. But it's a good card. It really is. It's really good. I mean, if you think about it, like, okay, say you have Wisp, right? Then you get a free Argent Squire. Are you gonna play Wisp? That's up to you. But now you can. All right, last one. Kabbalist's Tome. Okay, whatever. 5 mana, add 3 random mage spells to your hand. This is like kind of like Burgle. Like if you were burgling yourself. So Burgle does 2 for 3. This does 3 for 5. Okay. Mage spells are pretty good. They are pretty good indeed. I can't even think of a scenario where like the 3 spells you get aren't good. I mean, if you get 3 arcane missiles, that's fine, because you have stuff that buffs your minions, right? It's pretty expensive. If this card was 4, very good. But it is 5. It won't fatigue you. It's not like you take 3 spells out of your deck. But in some mage decks, you'd actually prefer that. I don't know. This card is tough, and hence it's an epic, right? I would not disenchant this card. I may craft this card. It's very tough. It's very tough. It really is. But yeah, that's the review, guys. So thanks for stopping by. I hope this was helpful. And see you guys around later.